Greetings and thank you for joining us on this journey of appreciation to reflect upon some of our insightful travels around the beautiful land of flowers as we acknowledge the fact that water unites. This is a befitting title for the video because for the past 12 plus years we have been documenting the legacy of First Nation people, the Aboriginal indigenous people whose existence at locations around the world is well established and known.
As heirs, we focus our senses and repeated footsteps to uncover and survey the vast Allodial Estate before us for the benefit of fallen humanity. The subterraneous waterways that emerge freshly filtered through the various consistencies of terrain, from sand to soil, clay, and rock, and the plants growing upon it, along with ancestral guidance, instructions from our mothers and fathers, are the precious gifts we adhere to and honor. Each day brings greater appreciation and detailed understanding from previous experiences and studies.
However, this particular presentation will focus on fascinating connections and footsteps that we have taken at Southeast Territories and surrounding waterways, from the Welaka River to the Gulf of Mexico, with a pause at Old Tampa Bay. After wandering into an opening in the forest understory, we noted the dark sandy soil that sustained cabbage palms and other trees in the background, offering sky views and interesting places for cicadas to be heard and not seen.
The diversity of leaf colors increases depending upon the season of travel and observation, with leaf shapes from heart, kidney, palm, fan, and more, offering a bit more stability with plant identification, even as they fall and decompose on the ground. Plant characteristics tend to change depending upon the substrate or soil type they set roots in. In the wetlands, trees like cedar, tupelo, some maples, and others develop woody parts that are tolerant to these otherwise adverse conditions, becoming resistant to water decay, and even certain insects that exist in similar environments. First Nation people were and are aware of these natural strengths and utilize these resources in balance with their growth cycles and availability.
Blue Springs, a favorite memory, is watching hundreds of manatees basking in the 72-degree crystal clear water. Their winter survival depends on this safe haven at the largest spring along the Welaka, and where Aboriginal people established many villages.
That's strong sulfur coming out of here.
This fast-moving stream with dark water is interesting, yet the magnificent evergreen spring is fascinating and quite picturesque. The springs, named Gemini, Latin for twins, combine to make one second magnitude spring. A spring is a natural opening in the ground where groundwater emerges from the aquifer to the earth's surface. At a nearby creek, we watch two river cooters enjoying a swim. By the way, the name cooter sounds like kuta, an African word for turtle.
$6 million gallons a day.
There are reports claiming that this spring has a circular pool about 15 feet in diameter, and flow comes from a cavern opening in the limestone about 6 feet high and 8 feet wide. As the two spring flows converge, the water travels through a weir or dam outlet, then goes down a creek and makes its way to a large lake and ultimately to the Welaka. Hundreds of freshwater springs exist in the land of flowers because of the mostly karst terrain formed by water-dissolving and eroding sedimentary rock like limestone or dolomite. Many fish engaged in a feeding frenzy as a large loner cruised by.
From wherever one stands along the greater than 300-mile bordering edges of the Welaka River, at where it gracefully touches land, an inspiring vision can be seen. This massive northward flowing water body is the largest river at the Land of Flowers and has been the predominant inland transportation route of the territory since time unknown. Our people are our greatest importance, and wherever we find ourselves, we seek to offer and receive kind assistance in accordance with the laws of nature. Invariably, our persistent search for ancient mounds, honoring locations, and authentic artifacts pertaining to the heritage of First Nation people leads us towards ourselves in different phases of self-knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The time periods following the Spanish Inquisition, European voyages of exploration, and colonization are the most demoralizing and confining events any nation has experienced on the planet. As we gather together at ancestral mounds near waterways, divine aspects of our heritage return into view, as they were constructed prior to the arrival of European invaders. These honored locations were chosen as fruitful places for First Nation people to share resources and cultural traditions. Being free from the confining burden of colonial indoctrination, we meet each other as noble beings rather than fractions of our origin.
Water is sacred to life. Emotions like joy, peace, and gratitude are awakened universally. Water bodies along this river provide resources for many life forms. Bountiful food and water led First Nation people to build homes in this dense ravine, worn away by flowing water. Originally measured at about 20 feet tall, this significant mound village was a major trade center for a nearby mound complex and had connections with other Mississippian mound locations. Many synchronicities reminded us to be resolute about documenting and honoring the legacy of First Nation people.
And as we return back atop the ancestral mound, initiating the base of this video, of which we lovingly call Cherry Mound, other journeys of appreciation enter our thoughts due to their striking similarities, even along distant waterways. This ancestral mound along the Pithlachascoti River is a vivid example of said similarities and is worthy of continued focus and study.
Again, always acknowledging a strong connection with Cherry Mound, we respect its significance here. This presentation takes an important leap forward towards the revelation that we, as descendants of First Nation people whose existence spans time immemorial, are heirs to a vast allodial estate. We must collectively espouse to this truth about our ancestry. First and foremost, we have to relinquish the habit of using assigned self-identifiers, especially Negro, Black, Colored, and others, that establish no connection with the land. Second, remember these names are precursors to brainwashing tenets created by colonizing factions in order to claim and control land, people, and resources therein.
To journey around one's rightful estate while eruditely aware of the loving principles of natural law yields inner truth with each successive breath and gaze, allowing peaceful intentions upon our noble selves and upon our brothers and sisters, thus freeing our divine energy to establish justice as our renewed paradigm. To be a solitary body of people mentally divided by contrived brand labels which exclude the truth of nationality is a historical hardship whether one is aware of it or not.
Communities like Georgetown, Goldsboro, Eatonville, Bookertown, and others are acknowledged for their determination and longevity, although many have become overwhelmed by annexation and gentrification.
The legacy of our people's shared science and culture, from celestial to terrestrial, is in our hearts and hands, and though so-called tenured thought and popular media has employed many of us as willing agency to our own debasement, truth is the bedrock on which we stand and rise to renewed freedom. Our natural familiarity and generosity with our vast allodial estate has served kinds of men to a degree. However, in this now moment, as we bestow our greatest focus and efforts unto ourselves, the all of life shall gain bliss in accordance to natural law. The numerous examples gleaming before our presence are more than just breadcrumbs to assist a return to universal principles. They are generous confirmations to the wise and to many more beacons of hope towards freedom. Peace.